Hello and welcome to Big Friendly Grub. I hope you are well. Now, at the time of recording it is Sunday the 8th of March and that makes it International Women's Day. So I wanted to take the focus away from myself as much as I possibly can and to shine it onto a couple of friends of mine. They are absolutely wonderful, inspiring women. They are two of the most happiest and positive people I could ever hope to have met. They are Lucy and Kelly, the Blossom twins. I've gotten to know them over the past year or so through Twitter and I was very lucky to have met them late last year in December, and they are honestly two of the nicest people you could ever hope to have met. They are always shining positivity and light out onto Twitter and into the world, which is what we really need at this point. Now, if you don't know Lucy and Kelly, they both used to be professional wrestlers and they both used to wrestle as the Blossom twins.
Oh, exactly! Well, that's a pretty valuable tool as a tag team. More double team action into the splash!
And that is so cool to me because I am a big wrestling fan, and to be a professional wrestler is one of the coolest things you can possibly be as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that they got out there, they lived their childhood dream, they emulated their heroes, the Hardy Boys, and just became professional wrestlers. It's so cool to me, and it's one of the most inspiring things to be actually go out and live your childhood dream is absolutely amazing. They retired from wrestling about 7 years ago and they moved back to the UK, back to Stockport where they're from. And these days they are full-time teaching assistants, but they are also very avid book bloggers and food bloggers, and they are always posting about books and about food on their blog. Now I'm actually going to be making a recipe from their blog today. They love posting up recipes about their experiences from Italy because they draw so much inspiration from Italy. Their grandparents were from Italy, and so they draw so much inspiration from there. And they are so much about family, and it is absolutely one of the best things to see. And they love their family so much, and they are always posting about how much the food from Italy and the family experiences influence them throughout their lives. So I thought I would have a go at making one of the recipes from their blog. I'm going to be making a Torte Caprese, which is a almond cake. It's made from predominantly almond flour and it's got no raising agent in it. All the raising is done through egg whites and making it light and fluffy. Now I've had a go at making a Torte Caprese once before, and that was actually from one of Lucy's books, because both Lucy and Kelly are very avid writers now. Kelly has been writing children's books which aren't published yet, but I'm sure they will be published very soon because Lucy and Kelly can absolutely do anything that they put their mind to, so I'm sure they will be published soon. And in the last year and a half, Lucy has had 3 books published. She's been on an absolute roll with them, and she has written 3 wonderful books. They are right here. We've got How to Bake a New Beginning, we've got The Ingredients for Happiness, and we've got her most recent one, which is Wishes Under a Starlit Sky. I actually made the Torte Caprese using a very rough recipe from, it was The Ingredients for Happiness, because at the beginning of How to Bake a New Beginning and The Ingredients for Happiness, at the beginning of each chapter, Lucy would write a little recipe for various Italian recipes, because a lot of these are based around her familial experience, and she would put like little rough recipes. You might be able to see these here at the beginning of each chapter. And I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was one of the most endearing things I've ever seen in a book. And I love the idea. And when I actually met up with Lucy and Kelly in December, I actually had a go at making the Torte Caprese recipe that was in The Ingredients for Happiness. So you might be able to see here, here's the recipe for Torte Caprese, and you can see it's very rough, all in Italian, and it was just little notes because it's meant to be like Amanda's written notes in the book that she has. Amanda is one of the main characters in this book. So these are all really rough notes. So I had to translate it all from Italian and try and follow the very rough steps that were in there. And it actually turned out okay. It actually turned out pretty well. Lucy and Kelly said it was really nice. And I was lucky enough for their Nanna to try it as well, who obviously is from Italy. And so she said it was very good. It could have been a little bit lighter and fluffier, but overall it was pretty good for an attempt that I translated from some very rough notes from Lucy's book. So I wanted to have another go at making the recipe, but using the recipe that is from Lucy and Kelly's website. So they've got a recipe on their site for Torte Caprese. So I'm going to be using this one here today, and it is their Auntie Zia Rosetta's Torte Caprese recipe. So I'm going to be following this one. So hopefully I will do it justice. Now the girl was saying this, that traditionally Torte Caprese is a flourless almond cake, but they like to do things a little bit differently, add a bit of flour, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be following this recipe. They also like to add some rum, so I'm going to be doing that as well. Probably means I can't try it because I don't drink, but I'm sure I will find some very willing volunteers at work to give it a go. The other reason I wanted to do that recipe from the girls' site is because very sadly, just after Christmas, their Nana passed away, and the girls were so close to their Nana and to their grandpa, who both passed away within about a year of each other, which is really sad, because the girls were absolutely so inspired by their Nana and their grandpa. Now, with it being International Women's Day, I really wanted to dedicate this video to both Lucy and Kelly, but also to their Nana, because I know how much inspiration they drew from her. And I just really hope I can do their recipe justice today. So Lucy, Kelly and Nana, this one is for you. So here we go, we've got Zia Rosetta's Torte Caprese. I'm guessing that's Zia Rosetta there, that is Lucy and Kelly's auntie. So I'll be posting a link to this in the description, because it's obviously not my recipe, it's the girls' recipe, it's their Zia's recipe. So this will be posted in the description below. It says we need 300 grams of sugar, 300 grams of almonds, 300 grams of chocolate, 200 grams of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, 5 egg whites, 5 egg yolks and a cup of rum. To start off, first melt your butter and chocolate over a double boiler. You can let it melt slowly while preparing everything else, and that is exactly what I'm doing right now. So I have the chocolate and the butter melting over a bain-marie, which I'm guessing is the same as a double boiler, and that's just going to be melting while we do everything else. So it says next to whisk your egg yolks in a large bowl and then add sugar and mix again until smooth and creamy in texture. So let's get that done. So here's my large bowl. In with my egg yolks, which I've already separated out. Make sure I've got all that yolk out. Let's get these whisked up. So I've whisked those just until they're a bit lighter in colour, and I'm now going to add in our sugar. There's 300 grams of sugar here. I'm using golden caster sugar here because that's what I have and I didn't want to buy any more unnecessarily. So we've got to whisk this until it's smooth and creamy in texture. There we go, so that's a lot smoother and creamier in texture, and it's also lighter in colour, so that looks good to me. So next it says add the 3 tablespoons of flour and mix. While whisking, reduce the speed of the mixer or handheld electric whisk, which is what I've got, and pour in the rum. So it says for the rum about a cup, which I think is about 250 millilitres of rum. So I've had to buy rum specifically for this because I don't drink anymore. So here I've got some Lamb's Navy rum, and I have no idea what this is like. I didn't drink rum even when I was a drinker really, so I have no idea what this is like. I hope it does the job. Ooh, that smells so strong to me now. After a year of not drinking, that smells extremely strong. So the girls said a cup, which if my measurement conversions are correct from like cups to millilitres, about 250 millilitres. That's a lot of rum. I hope this is right. That is a heck of a lot of rum. I do hope this is going to be right. I hope I don't mess things up here. I'm going to go with it. It says pour it in a bit at a time, so I can always stop if I feel like it's going to be too much. So in with 3 tablespoons of flour and mix, and reduce the speed of the hand mixer and gradually add the rum. So I'm going to add it in a bit at a time. That's about half the rum. I think we'll be alright. I think I'm not messing this up. The girls do acknowledge in the recipe that usually this is traditionally a flourless cake, but they like to add a bit of flour because they like to be rebellious like that. It also doesn't have to have rum in it. You could just leave it out, or you could swap it for something else like maybe amaretto or something like that. But they're using rum, so that's what I'm doing. So that's looking quite thin at the moment, but I think that's fine because next we've got to add in our ground almonds and mix until combined. So this has definitely got to thicken that up. So I've got 300 grams of ground almonds here. So in those go and mix until combined. So that's all combined, that's thickened up nicely as well. So check on the butter and chocolate mixture, give it a stir, and if melted, add it to the bowl. We let it cool ever so slightly first. So I have been checking on it and it is all pretty much melted. Let's bring this back over here. So you can see that is all melted. So I'm going to take this off and let it cool for a few minutes before adding it to the bowl. Right, my chocolate's had some time to cool, so I'm going to add this into the bowl with all the ground almonds and egg and rum. Oh, look how dark and rich that chocolate and butter looks. Looks amazing. Mix that in. So that's all combined in, and it says lastly whisk up the egg whites till soft peaks form and then fold them slowly into your mixture. So let's get those egg whites whisked. So here's my egg whites. You'd think after the giant Tunnocks tea cake recipe I would have had enough of whisking egg whites, but no, I will do this. I can do this. Those look like soft peaks to me, so I think this is good to now be mixed into our chocolate and almonds and everything else. So I'm going to try and just put this in as gently as I can because I don't want to knock the air out of it. Now I've just got to gently fold these egg whites into our mixture because, as I said, I think I said earlier anyway, that there is no raising agent in this and it's all done with these egg whites, these beaten egg whites, to give that air and lift. Just got to make sure this is all folded through as evenly as possible. There, that is all folded in completely. That looks great, it smells great. You can definitely smell that rum in it as well. So I think this is now good to get into our tin. So it's cut a large circle of parchment paper and wet it before placing it into the bottom of the tin. We need a 12-inch cake pan, which I have over here, and I've already got the parchment paper into the bottom. I actually use some butter underneath it, which is what I always do. So we can now get our cake mixture into the cake tin. So I'm just going to very, very, very gently get this in. Don't want to do it from too great a height. So that's all our cake mixture in, and then lastly all we need to do is bake at 180 degrees C for 1 hour because there's a lot of cake here and it needs a long bake. So let's try and get this into the oven without spilling any. Let's use my excellent camera work. Into the oven, 180 degrees C, and we'll come back in an hour. Right, so it has been an hour, so this should be good to come out of the oven now. And oh yes, that looks lovely. That looks really good. That looks just about right from what I can tell from having made it once before and also from just watching other people make it and the recipe. And that looks really nice. It's got a nice crusty top, almost like a brownie, and it just looks really good. It smells really good as well. You can still smell the rum in that. So probably what I'm going to do now is just let it cool down in the tin for a bit before trying to take it out of the tin and letting it cool down completely on a wire rack. Hey, it's been a few hours now, a lot longer than I anticipated. I had a IKEA delivery that was supposed to come yesterday, arrived today, which was really handy because it completely messed up my whole schedule. But never mind that. It has now been a good few hours and the Torte Caprese has had plenty of time to cool. I've actually managed to get it out of the tin. It was a little bit precarious just because I was a little bit overzealous, I was a little bit worried about breaking it, but it's come out fine and it looks really, really good. Come and have a look at this. There we go, look at that. Doesn't that look great? I even got a bit fancy and did some icing sugar. And if you're wondering how I did that, I just put the cooling rack over the top of it, upside down, and then dusted icing sugar over it. I think it looks rather good, don't you? I think that's come out really well. I'm really happy with that. So I will be passing this on to my work colleagues tomorrow for them to try and give it the taste test. So I will hopefully be able to get that filmed tomorrow. But I'm really happy with how that turned out. It looks like I haven't completely messed up Lucy and Kelly's Zia's recipe. So hopefully it will taste as good as it looks. It's a moment of truth where to see if I've actually done this justice and done justice to Lucy and Kelly's recipe. So I'm going to dive in. Oh, it's got a really nice crust on the top. You know, kind of like a brownie. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that looks really good. Joe here has agreed to be my guinea pig for this. Don't look so scared, Joe. I'm just filming you eating. What's wrong about that? There's a lot of rum in this, Joe, so I hope you haven't already been drinking today.
It's really moist.
That's good. What's the flavour like?
Yeah, it's really good. It's like, it's not too powerful. I know you said about how much rum was in it, but it doesn't really taste overly rummy.
Oh, that's good.
It's got like a nice undertone.
Because I was a bit worried that I'd gone overboard on the rum, or I'd done the recipe wrong. So
No, it's good. It's like kind of the outer bit is quite crunchy. It's really quite soft and brownie-like as well.
yeah,
So it's actually very brownie-like.
yeah. Sounds like that's the seal of approval from Joe. Thumbs up. Yay! Thanks, Joe. There we go, that's another look at the lovely Torte Caprese there. It's turned out really well, and I'm really glad because I really wanted to do Lucy and Kelly's recipe justice, because you know, they have so much love in their family, and they put so much love into everything, into their food, into their writing. It's just fantastic, and that's why I really wanted to do this recipe today, and to pay tribute to their Nana and their Zia as well, because obviously this is her recipe and that's what they put up on their blog, and it's turned out really well. So I really hope the people at work like it tomorrow. I'm going to put this down now because I'm really worried about dropping it. Now, as I said at the start of the video, Lucy and Kelly are two of the most wonderful people I've ever had the pleasure to meet, and you should really go check out their blog. It's www.theblossomtwins.com. I will put a link in the description and maybe something on the screen as well, and you should definitely go check that out. You should go follow them on Twitter and Instagram, and also their individual Twitters and Instagrams. I'll put all of those into the description below, because today's video is about them, not about me, and doing their recipe and just paying tribute to them and International Women's Day and everything today. And I really enjoyed doing that. It was really good fun. And while I'm here, I should absolutely mention Lucy's books again, because they are all available on Amazon, and you should go and pick them up because she puts so much love into her writing. They are absolutely fantastic. They are really lovely, heartwarming, uplifting stories. You've got the two here, which is about three sisters that are just amazing. They is baking and love and romance and a bit of heartbreak as well, but they are just such wonderful, uplifting stories. I don't want to give away too much because you should just go and read them. And there's also her most recent one, Wishes Under a Starlit Sky, which is about a lady called Harper who has had a bit of a plot twist in her life and things haven't gone as planned, but she gets to write herself a new story, and you absolutely have to read that one as well, especially if you've had a bit of a troublesome time in your life and you are looking for something to uplift you and to give you something to look forward to. So that is an absolutely wonderful book, but they're all absolutely brilliant. So definitely go and check those out. They're all available on Amazon, and I'll put links in there as well. But that's it from me. That's it for this episode of Big Friendly Grub. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making that Torte Caprese and paying tribute to Lucy and Kelly and to their Nana as well. And I hope you give it a go as well. They have loads more recipes over at their blog, so go and check that out. Like I said, the link's in the description. Link to all their social media is in the description as well as Lucy's books. And just keep an eye out for any future books from Lucy and Kelly in the future as well. So I will sign off this time, and I will see you on the next Big Friendly Grub. Take care. Bye.